Before I fought, I used to teach high school. I taught high school mathematics for 4 years full-time, and that was what I planned on doing my whole life. I thought I'd do my 30 and out, or at least teach for a while, and then possibly a career change or something like that, who knew, but never planned on going into MMA as a professional career. When I was in high school, I played high school football. I was an athlete my whole life. When I graduated from high school, I knew that I wasn't going to play college ball, so I decided to get into mixed martial arts. I was doing it as a hobby. I had no real goal, nothing that I had no plan on pursuing it as a career, but it just happened to be something I was good at. So after training for several years, working my way through college and teaching, I worked my way into a situation where I could contemplate quitting my job as a teacher and possibly pursuing a career as an MMA fighter. And it takes smart business decisions, good management and teammates, and a lot of luck, being in the right place at the right time. I've fought in several shows. My manager put me in, made smart decisions on who I was fighting and where I was fighting, and kind of climbing my way up the corporate ladder in the fight world. And I had made a name for myself. Unfortunately, I just happened to be in the right places at the right times at some of these shows, and the proper people saw me fight, and I impressed them. So eventually I had an invite to the U.F.C. A typical day for me starts in the morning. I usually wake up, shake off the sleepiness for a few minutes, and then I hop on the treadmill. I'll do about a 30-minute routine. That's followed by a quick breakfast. Oftentimes in the morning time I do a shake, and I'm usually on the computer for about an hour and a half to 2 hours doing business type work. At that point, I'll go to the gym for my first training session. That'll last about 2 hours, and depending on the day, some days we're working our stand-up game, some days we're working specifically boxing or kickboxing, some days we might be working wrestling, or other days I might go and do my strength and conditioning routines at the power station. The most memorable fight for me was probably the Ken Shamrock fight. It was a big name. I was very nervous for that fight, and a lot of people at that point in time thought that Ken may have been washed up, so I was expected to win, but I knew that he was a dangerous opponent. But I think the most memorable part of that fight was the stare down before the fight, because it was the first time I'd ever fought on television live. And they brought us into the ring, had us do a stare down for a little while, they did a commercial break the whole time. We're live, so we're still standing there staring each other down. And then they came back from a commercial break, we continued to stare each other down, and it was just like 8 minutes of hell staring each other down. I guess for me, winning is it's something that I expect to do. So after my fights, I've kind of, in my head, expected that I should have won that fight. Any fight that I step into, which makes actually losing a more difficult thing to deal with. But when you come in the gym day in and day out and you work as hard as I do, and you expect to win, you expect nothing but your best effort, then when you do pull through and you perform the way that you think that you should have, it's just another day at the office. Losing's tough to deal with. It's a difficult thing, you know. Sometimes, I mean, everybody loses, but when you lose, you step back and kind of ask yourself, how'd I get in this situation? How'd this happen to me? And you know, I'm a firm believer in everything in your life happens for a reason. So you kind of you start questioning things like, well, what's the reason for this? And although you may not be able to think of a good reason in your head, you know, I'm sure God has a good reason for it also. But the people that I look up the most to for my mentorship are my coaches. They give me great advice on a daily basis, and they put a lot of care into my training. They, you know, might make sure that I'm well taken care of the week of my fight, and you know, I just have a good staff that works with and around me and on a daily basis. So those are the people that I look up to. There are a lot of fighters in the UFC that I respect for what they've done. I respect Randy for being able to do the things he's done in multiple weight classes and fighting at the age that he's fought. I respect guys like Jeremy Horn for the amount of fights that they've had over their career and the amount of success that he's had. I respect guys like Matt Hughes for the domination that he's been able to produce in the welterweight class. And I could go on. Honestly, 5 years from now, I don't even know if I'll be in the UFC. Perhaps I will, perhaps I won't, I don't know. It's a difficult question to ask because, you know, I get asked this question all the time, and I've been asked this question my entire life. Even when I was in high school, I had teachers say, where do you think you'll be 10 years from now? And You know, if you were to ask me that my senior year in high school, I don't think that I would have said I'd been fighting for the UFC at that point in time. So who knows? Who knows where my career will take me? I have opportunities. Possibly commentating. I have opportunities to open a facility if I wanted to, and I don't know what I want to pursue after I'm done fighting.